Hi, I'm Robert Ranieri. In this video, I'll be going through the profit and loss, or P&L, Power BI demo report. In order to get to the report, please go to my website, robaranieri.com/profit and loss, or click the P&L button on my website. Once you get there, you'll see an embedded Power BI report. Clicking full screen to get started. The default view shows the demo profit and loss statement broken down by month. Without getting into too much financial jargon, the top line, or gross sales, is the total revenue that the company has generated from selling its goods. As you go down the P&L, there are other expenses and costs of doing business, such as post-invoice trade spend, cash discounts, and the cost of goods sold, the cost of manufacturing the products, until eventually you get to contribution margin, which is the total sum of money that's left over after operating the business. You can break down this profit and loss statement with a variety of different filters. At the top, there are different fiscal years. 2025 is shown just for demo purposes. You can also break down the Canadian market by clicking Canada. And if you do so, you can break down the Canadian market in terms of its local currency, and so it will filter to Canadian dollars. Going back to the United States example, you can also select different display units. So for example, thousands makes it easier to view the P&L in terms of quantifiable numbers. It'll take a minute to load, but it will do so, and once it does, the variables are in terms of thousands now. You can even click millions, and it will do so as well. The benefit of this report in Power BI is that you can now have the ability to break down the P&L by any means necessary. At the bottom left here, we have the product hierarchy, or the business units associated with this demo data company. Clicking Beverages, it'll automatically filter the data to just show how beverages are doing, with their contribution margin down below. Unselecting Beverages, we can see that the contribution margin is generally speaking higher. So clicking Beverages, we know that this business is less profitable than food or pet supplies. You can break down this P&L for beverages in a variety of different ways. The first, I'll just do fiscal year. And it shows just for 2025, the P&L. Then you could break it down by customer, and it shows dummy data for retailers that are made up at the top. So we have all others, and big box, and club, and a corner store, and direct shipments, drug mart, grocery, etc., etc. We can see at the bottom here how our specific customers are performing. Some are doing very, very well and have a very high contribution margin, while others are not doing so great. There's even a top-level adjustment section for those financial pieces of data that are not associated with a particular customer. Going back to breaking down by X and clicking Product Hierarchy 2, it'll then break out beverages into juice, slushies, soda, and water, the next level of the hierarchy. There's not much in slushie, but juice, soda, and water all have their particular P&Ls. Notice that water is less profitable than soda and juice. A tangible business question that could be answered using this demo data report would be, which tropical fish is the most profitable at Megastore, and which tropical fish has the highest sales at Megastore? To do that, I would filter first for fish, then tropical fish. I would break down the hierarchy to hierarchy 4, which has the list of all the tropical fish, and then I would filter the customer for Megastore. And then it would tell me between the beta, guppy, molly, and tetra who has the highest sales, and it's the beta, and who has the highest margin, that would be the guppy. Noticing that molly represents $9 million of sales and is only at a 40% margin, a strategic decision could be made between the sales and finance team to incentivize more sales of the guppy, tetra, and beta, and away from the molly, which has a lower profit margin. Overall, this report bridges the gap between finance and other departments to align on the margin, the sales, and the strategy going forward in the business.